think we're live now. There you go.
All right. Think we're there? Okay. Good morning and or good afternoon, everyone. Lisa, your favorite Senso Tech Jedi, here with Owen. I always point the wrong. There we go. It's
Hello.
it's mirrored. We are so excited to be here today. A little bit different than a normal feature kind of thing that we're doing with the live YouTube event. We're going to talk about Service Desk today, a way for your users and technicians to modify, change, create, submit support tickets. So right within the Senso portal, also there's some other ways to do that. So we're going to go over that today. I know this is something that has already been announced before, but this is more an in-depth look at the different features that have changed that were in conjunction with the last portal release. So hopefully you were part of that YouTube event and saw everything. You did see us talk about it, and we did mention that we were going to do one of these, and so ta-da, here we are. So Owen, are we all ready? You ready to jump right into it?
Oh, I'm never ready, but let's go.
I like how everyone's like, you're live. Like, we know it takes us a minute to kind of get uh, used to it. Hopefully everyone can hear us. If we have any sort of audio issues or anything like that, please let us know. Also in the chat, we will be looking at the chat. We have also other Senso moderators that are in there. If you have questions, anything you want to look at, suggestion, comments, we've asked about what service desk option are you using right now. We're very curious. A lot, Owen and I are from education industry. We were both in schools and both use different types of service desks. We have a support desk here at Senso that we utilize. So we're very curious as to what everybody is using and what they would like to see from us. Okay. With no further ado.
Awkward silence. I think I was focusing on too many things.
It's okay. So behind us, you can see we are in the admin center of our Senso portal, and you go right down into the service desk area. And I failed to mention, this one was on me before we kind of jump into this. If you are interested in further information about this, or you would really like to have this added as part of your Senso portal, please contact your customer success representative or your sales representative, and they'll be more than happy to give you all the details about that, set up trainings, demos, whatever you need about this. So just be aware of that. I'll say that again a couple of times in this so that you know who to contact after this. Okay, so admin center, you go to service desk. Once you're in service desk, kind of at the very beginning of it, it will look a little different because you have to build up the different options. And if you've been a customer with Senso long enough, you know that we give you a lot of granularity when we set anything up, especially like this. Lots of options so that you are, you're not, I call it, not stuck in your box. Here's your box, you can stay within the box, you can't do anything outside of this. We don't do that. We give you the tools and we let you modify this in any way that is perfect for your environment, your network, your technicians. So when you first get into it, you'll see there that you will want to go first into user management. User management is going to be one of the only two options you have there. Analytics, which is this dashboard overview, because we do love a good dashboard in Senso. So before we jump into the user management, let's look at the user dashboard, the analytics here. You can see, just see your cursor.
Just floated around.
Like a shark, it's going around. Okay. Analytic overview, created tickets, closed tickets, resolved tickets, average ticket time, very important, that you can see how quickly it is that your staff technicians, whomever is in here, are getting those tickets resolved. Now again, this is going to be the technician side of it. We do have extra sides of this where there's the user facing, kind of like our Senso portal, where you have users and then you have IT teams that have different sides to this. So you can change it all the way out to 3 months, and you'll see that changes this information. You'll get a lot more of a dashboard overview. Again, and I'll say this many times, if you are a customer of Senso and have been for a while, you know we like to modify, change, make and better improvements. I would not be surprised at all if there's more information contained in here. You can get more customization for this side of it. So just be aware of that there's definitely going to be some more information probably coming into this. Okay, user management. Very first place when you set this up would go into role manager. You want to create that custom role, because not only do you need to create an admin role, then you need to look at all the other roles that you're going to create for your technicians. And you'll hear me say that Technicians, users. Two different types of people that are going to be using this. Technicians are the ones the tickets are coming into. They are closing these tickets. They are the support team that are going to be assisting your users. Users are most likely going to be the ones that are submitting the tickets to your technicians. So right now we're looking at technicians. And Owen and I talked about this earlier. We'll try to be very specific about our verbiage, wordology about technicians versus users. So you need to create an admin role, and admin role needs to be everything. Now, I just clicked on create role, and man, oh man, look at the options you got in there. Of course, with an admin role, you're going to want to have options for everything. You need to see everything. But for other roles, on-site techs, different levels of technicians that you're going to have utilizing and closing tickets for you, there's going to be a lot of options for them with how you can set it up. Again, there's no limit for how many roles, who can be assigned to that role, that sort of thing. So you see here everything that we're going to talk about today is something that can be turned on, off, even down to visible tickets. They can view tickets assigned to them. You can view all. There's a lot of options in there. So when you create these roles, now you'll see on this admin role, I'll go over here to edit. Everything is selected for this admin role, and then that is how, when you refresh it after you first set it up, this will modify and change because now you have options to see that. Another technician may not have, support channels or productivity selected for them, so it's going to change and modify for what they see in their Senso portal. Users, now again, different between technicians and users. These are going to be separate in that there are other email addresses in there. I just want to have all the email addresses up like that. Users will be automatically created if they, because you have the ability, and Owen's going to talk about that in just a second, to have an email address that people can then send support tickets to, and then you can also create a custom access page where they can send tickets if they don't have a Senso console, so they will then automatically be created a user account in here. You can manually create the user account as well. There's two ways for that, manual and automatic. The technicians, these are those technicians with that role that you see there that you can set up. Roles are for technicians, roles are not for users. If you're looking at user roles, that's going to be up here in console users if you wanted to give them access to the service desk icon, which I will show you in a moment what it looks like, versus a technician portal versus a user portal. So that's going to be, once we kind of go through how to set everything up, we'll switch over and we'll show you that side of it. Okay, I think I'm going to throw it over to Owen for, we're going to go back and forth on these. We have different sections that we're going to talk about. So Owen, which section did you want to jump into?
I think it was the productivity section, wasn't it? We're going to go to next. Yeah, so obviously we work with, the Senso is built and designed to work with any number of size organizations, whether you've got 100 schools or whether you're just one school, whether you're a district, whether you're a trust, all those sort of things. And within the productivity here, you've got the ability to set up a queue per site. So say you've got school A, school B, school C, you can have a queue set up for each individual one. And also as well, when it comes to queues as well, you don't just have to have a Senso site style queue. You can also have what we call a normal queue, and this queue can be for any number of reasons. For example, one example that we've got is we've got one organization that is actually using a queue for their caretaking staff, and so teachers or members of staff can email the caretaker help desk email address, and it comes into this normal queue, and the caretakers are able to pick up the tickets in there. There could be any number of reasons why you might want to use a normal queue. Most cases probably use a Senso site queue. And within here as well, you can add a different ticket prefix. And when we come to show you the ticket view in a moment, you'll see the benefits of having that ticket prefix as well, because it will also display very clearly. So if you're the overarching person looking over all of the tickets across all your organizations, you're going to quite easily be able to identify within the whole organization view as to which ticket belongs to which site, because you'll have that ticket prefix in there as well. moving on from queues, automation. So we've added in an automation system into our ticketing system, which allows you to do a abundance of rules. I really like the automation system on this and how granular that you can get with it. You can create a number of different scenarios within here. So you could do your standard things of doing a ticket is created, and you could do an action of send it in an email, or you can change the priority, email a user, email a technician. You can change who's it's assigned to, and you could do that with pretty much all of these that you see in here as well. I think my favorite one in here, I don't know which one your favorite is, Lisa, but my favorite one's the callback attempt automation rule, because within the ticket you can obviously set up a callback button when you call it back, when you've attempted a callback.
Right. I like
when you've done
ticket
a callback.
closed. That means it's done.
Oh yeah, ticket closed is done is great. But I like this because obviously when you're a technician and you've tried to call the customer back and they haven't answered the phone, you can press the callback button, and you can set this up so that an email goes to the end user automatically, or the ticket creator automatically, and they get an email to say that the technician has tried to contact them. Please call back on this number, or however you want to set the rule up, etc. And obviously you can set these rules up as well on a global rule, so it affects all of your queues, or you can actually just set it so that it only works against 1 or 2 queues. This is especially useful for MSPs that have different technicians on site and they want to have different email templates for what goes out to the customers. Moving on from that one as well, we've obviously also got SLA alerts. You can, if you do have an SLA within your sites or within your schools and you want to abide by those SLAs, you can set up alerts as the overarching leader. And you can also select who the SLA alerts go to, so making sure that your tickets are staying within those SLAs. And also as well is the email. You can receive the emails in here. You can set it to also include the waiting for user state. Now you also, within the tickets as well, you can actually set it so that tickets aren't affected by times or weekends, so SLAs don't get broken over weekends, which is quite a common feature with some ticketing systems where they allow them to go into weekends. You have the ability within Senso to turn those off. And to set the SLA times up, Lisa's going to show you in a moment, that's within a different section, but the SLA times can also be set based on, I think it's based on hours, isn't it, Lisa? I think it's hours.
Yep. Because again, after hours you're not in office, that's not on you for your SLA being, when you're asleep, you can't answer tickets sort of thing. But definitely the weekend, I think, is very important for that to not affect that, because you don't want to get that, like, you have violated your SLA. Like, no, not really. It's Sunday.
Nobody's working.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? I think we said that you're going to do tasks now, didn't you? Yeah.
Right. Task. So for task, these are things that happen all the time. I know that was one of the common ones that I had at my district when I was there, is cleaning those filters out of the old school. I swear there was one Hitachi salesman that hit every school district in Texas. We all had the big, huge Hitachi projectors hung from the pipe in the ceiling, but you had to change those filters out all the time. So think about that. Something that it's a recurring task that you need to have, hey, you need to go do this, it's today to go do that, or change the bulbs, or whatever, check the Promethean boards, something like that. So again, look at all that granularity that you have in there, as far as, of course you could just have this column, task reoccurrence and start date, but then you've got all of this where you can go into specific queues, the status of it, priorities. It's nice if, especially for larger, you guys call them MSPs, for us it's going to be like service centers, regional centers, companies. You're trying to manage a large team of technicians and seeing that a task is assigned to that, and then they can tell you done. They can set it that it's been done. So okay, this task was assigned to Tom. Tom has gone out and cleaned the filters and marked it done. So then you can take it off of your, we all have the massive whiteboards in our office that I don't care how much into the future we're going to get. We're all going to have whiteboards still of like, okay, that's all done. So you can go ahead and have that, assign it to users and all of that. So having that ability to kind of automate a lot of these things is very nice. And, we're all going to have specific tasks within our networks within our little environments that are going to be specific for us that you're thinking right now, like that would be awesome. One of the ones that I had to do was once a week I had to go restart the point of sale machine service in the cafeteria, or it wouldn't run her database reports. It was just a quirk within the software that they never could sort out. So I had it, but you could set myself a task. Thursdays, go down, reset the service, and she can run her end of week reports. So stuff like that. And then responses. Man, I love a good canned response. you know, think of this as a lot of different ways that you can use a canned response. Closing a ticket. This is something we utilize. That once everyone is happy, we've reached resolution. It just says thank you so much. Let us know, give us some feedback on that because we're really keen about that customer conversation. Things that are very common all the time. Have you turned it off and turned it back on? Call me back when you've done that. If you want to start with that. You can put all of that information in here, and again, response, resolution, whatever. So having that canned response, especially if it's something that you don't want to have to type up all the time, maybe there's a link in there, go ahead and create all that here. You can have that canned response as part of your ticket. So those are really neat things to have as far as helping your productivity with this service desk system. Okay, so we've talked about productivity. We've talked about user management. I think this is a good time to talk about support channels. You read my. I saw your little thing going straight for it. I was like, I know where we're going.
Where goes support channels?
Yeah.
So support channels is where you can set up how your end users are going to be able to report tickets to you. There is also a separate section within emails as well to set up templates, which I'm going to touch on in a moment. But with email forwarding setup, you're obviously able to set up your queues, and then you can set up a separate email address for each one of those queues. And I'll show you as an example in here. So let's set up one for your queue, Lisa, and we'll call it
Supertext.
Now, parsing attachments, you could do. I mean, we already have a limit on them, which is currently set to 10 attachments per ticket and the maximum size of 10 megabytes, just so that everybody's aware. But you can also change this as well to something yourself, and you'll see the violation attachment settings in the general settings, which Lisa's going to show you after this. But within again, you can send an email template out to say that this email has been rejected because it's got too many attachments if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to click add. And what our users can now do is email supertext at servicedesk.senso.cloud, and that will go straight through to the queue, the correct queue that they wanted to go to. Now, what you obviously also can do, if you wanted to use your own email domain, all you need to do if you're using Exchange or Gmail, you'll just need to set up a mail rule that if they email, for example, helpdesk@school.com, you just need to make sure that the rule automatically forwards to this queue. And some of the customers that have been testing Service Desk for us, and if you're listening, thank you so much for that, because this product's grown massively with their help.
Hi, Ted.
So one or two of our customers have got multiple schools, and what they've done is they've actually, each one of their schools has its own domain. So each user in each school has a different domain that it emails from, and it kind of represents the school where they come from. What they've done in their central exchange is they've created one email address of it's helpdesk@school.com. And the way they've done it is that if email comes from school A, forward the email to school@servicedesk.senso.cloud. So it is very. I thought it was. I didn't even think about it before we introduced Service Desk. They thought of that themselves, and I'm nicking that idea. I thought it was great. And templates. So this is where you're going to help set up those SLA alert templates, also the email attachment templates, and also the automation rules as well. So the automation rules is where this is where you set up the emails that you send back to the customers. So for example, you've got an automation rule to send an email to the end user when the ticket has been received or created. You can set up in here all the different rules. And you have this different email placeholders that you could put in as well. So you could put in dear, and you want to look for the reporter name. So it automatically pulls the reporter's name from the ticket, and if it can't see their name, it will use the email address instead. Putting your information all in here, and you can make it very unique and to the style. So if it's for one school, you can do one for that school, etc. And one thing to note with this is that you need to make sure that you do all your email templates. Think about all the email templates that you want to do before doing your automation rules as well.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
And also there is the extra ability of logging a ticket from an external form as well. And what this external form will allow you to do, there's some unique scenarios as to why you may want an external form. So, for example, if you wanted to allow parents to log a ticket, say you've got a parent scheme for devices or something along those schemes, you can actually allow it so that external users from your school can actually log tickets with yourself, and it will work in a very similar way to how the emails go in, but they get to actually select the queues if they wanted to. So you can have it set in there so they can select which queue that the email goes to. And whenever they want to check on the ticket, they can receive an email link to take them straight to wherever the ticket is, and just be able to see it.
And you'll see that external form up there is a link that is the link that you would want to copy and send out. It just goes to a Senso splash screen. It's our graphics, and it has enter your email address, and then then it starts creating the options. But you do have to set up some of the create access settings over there and test it to make sure. And again, this is just like any setup. You got to make sure everything is good. Have one. We all have template accounts that we use to test everything. Send yourself emails to make sure that it's going to the right area before you just send that out. But that I didn't even think about the parent thing. That's kind of cool, especially with hybrid.
I think that's why it was created. I think that was the idea. Yeah, that's customer feedback as well. The why that was created.
Yeah, because you've got more. If you can even imagine, we've got more devices going home, and students that either they're in quarantine or whatever now that they're at the house. Well, they can't just take their device to the IT office at school because they're not at school. And so this is a nice way for the parents on their behalf to be able to say they're having some issues with their Chromebook. We don't know what to do. Can you help us out? They're not going to be back until their quarantine ends or whatever like that. So because that's what it's called now. We went from distance learning to remote learning to hybrid learning, where I think that's where it's all settled now. And I know here in the States we're ramping back up with the school year in August. So it's going to be hybrid. There's going to be, staff at home, students at home, and vice versa. So that's a neat thing to have. Okay. General settings. General
settings. That one's your one.
Thanks. Okay, so this is all of this, or everything else that we up to this point has been a lot of back end. Technicians, roles, queues, really getting it set up, very granular how you want it. This is front facing. This is the ticket itself that is going to be how your users can then submit these tickets. So think about this as general settings for that. So you'll see the options as far as priority category, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. There's that include weekends when calculating SLA dates. Maybe you have staff that work over the weekend, so that's why you have the option on one way or the other. You can or you don't have to include those SLAs. Limit those attachments. Again, number of attachments. That's what Owen was referencing earlier, that you have some more modification ability within that as well, and allow tickets to be created without a queue. You might want to do that. People may not know queue, like they may not recognize what you've labeled them. They may not know, is this a software, hardware, Chromebook, whatever, and so they can just submit it, and then you can then take it and put it to whatever list, queue, however you want to say that needs to go into. Now we have some just kind of basic template stuff in here: to do, in progress, done, all can be modified, added, changed, even given a color. I mean, lots of options in there. And so when I switch and we start showing like the front facing view for the technicians and the users, you can kind of see how specific you can get with this. So the status of it, as many or as few status, and kind of the order that you want them to be presented in when the pull down list shows in the ticket itself. So
There's also on status as well. There's two ways it's displayed in the ticket view as well, isn't there? So you've got the Kanban view, and then you've obviously also got the ticket, which obviously we'll show in a bit.
right, right. Priority, low, medium, high. Again, these are pretty standard, but everybody's going to be different. You want to give some other options in there, or change the one that's in there, and you'll see when you add those. Excuse me, I got all the clamped. Like, I was really excited about priority. The text, again, the order, look, all the options for flag colors. Now, for those of us that are colorblind, grays are your friends, but a lot of options. Response time in hours, like if it's a high priority, this is a response time should happen within this set of time. We have that for our support system. If it's marked as high, our our time for our response shortens significantly, because we want to make sure that we get that out there. And then how long it should take to resolve this, fix time. So these ones that are already in there, that was the most text. These ones that are, I went full country there when I was explaining that. The ones that are the options, whew, man, the struggle is real today. The options that are in there right now are these are default options, but they're not set in stone. You can modify these or remove them and create your own. And then categories. Hardware, software, again, these are going to be just basic categories that we have included in there. You can include as many categories. If I was back at my school, I would definitely have one that's Chromebook. These are my windows, these are my labs, this is my resource room. I mean, very, very granular. And I like that because then it changes all my analytics that I look at. Where are most of my tickets coming from? Is it this one particular, y'all call it a IT suite, an IT suite or a lab? Is it one particular classroom? Is it one set of, whatever is it a cart of Chromebooks that's always, so that way, I don't know, in Texas, they used to do this thing called a star chart that you have to submit and show, all the different analytics about when you're completing tickets and different things on campus for funding. So if that's something you have to show, it's be nice that you have all these really like granular categories that you can set up and show different things for. So that is the options within general settings. So that's all the background setup. So this whole time, this is all of that. And again, once it's set, it's set. You probably won't be coming back into here except to tweak it. It'd be great if we could have this extra cue, or this category color is kind of close to this one. Maybe let's change that sort of thing. So now we're going to go over, let's look at what it would look like for a technician. This is going to be who the tickets are going to. Owen's going to click on Service Desk. This is a technician viewpoint. So you see all the panel view over there that you have, all of your open tickets, unassigned, assigned to you specifically. All of that's customizable too, all those colors within there. How many you have in those colored dots. There are all your queues. There are all your categories. So that's where all that information that we were just setting up on the back end, it shows here. And you see how the color comes into play here. Yep, and what Owen is doing now is showing that you can move those in that panel view. You can drag and drop to where they need to be within for that view, or you can go into this specific open ticket view, and then once you go into the ticket, guess what? Even more options within there as for the ticket. When there's assigned to you, this is where those categories are going to be for the users to select information. And if you need to change that information because they've been miscategorized, they've put it at a high, it's really a medium, that sort of thing, that you can come in there and modify all that. Just those save things, it was something when I was playing around this, I was like, oh, I changed all these options and I forgot to click save over there. So that's what those little save icons are there for. There's your attachments and tags. Tag these when you start having specific tickets come in. Yeah, slow network, monitor issue, Chromebook issue, whatever, have, again, for analytics for you going forward with these tickets. There is an option, and we will show this. One of the coolest features, or cooler features that I think about this, is that not only can your users put in devices that then you can use the live chat or the remote control module in within a ticket. If for some reason they don't put that information in there, you can then add that device from your Senso portal into the ticket. So right within the ticket itself, you have a ticket assigned to a specific device. You can actually go straight into remote control from the ticket. So if you have tens of thousands of devices out there, it's so nice to know that you, with the ticket itself, you can pinpoint the one device that you need to get to. You don't have to go back to the list view in your portal to search for it. It's right here within the ticket. And that's what Owen is showing you right now. Of if you, again, if you've been a customer with us for a while, you're going to recognize that screen where it has all your remote control options up at the top, and there's a live message that you can send back and forth. Can you show me what's specifically show me what's happening? Open your email. Let's see why we can't open that attachment. Things like that. So you see other options, those tabs above that. You have ticket description, the resolution, the history, so that you can prove, this is when it was opened. This is the information I sent to you. Those callbacks are very important. I did try to call, you requested a callback. I did try to call you back. You weren't available. All of that information is really great to have. You'll see kind of down towards the bottom, leave a response. With the history, export to CSV. It's going to happen. You're going to need to have options to send this information. I really did try to help. I could not get in contact with you, and you can show all of that information right there in the history. The response down at the bottom, add a response, add a canned response, a technician reply, all of the information. I know it's not, but for me, I swear that little technician reply, it looks like Yoda. Doesn't it look like Yoda? A little bit. Doesn't it?
It reminds me of the incognito, the old incognito.
Oh, with the hat,
button.
with the like he's got his collar up. Okay, no, I see that now. But
I think that's why it's been done like that, because it essentially is like an incognito message, isn't it?
Right, it's a message between technicians. They're talking to each other about the tickets. Now I lost Yoda. It's like one of those things when someone's like, oh, and you've never seen it that way before, and now you can't unsee it. Crap. Okay, so yeah, I think.
See, I'm seeing Yoda now.
And you can star it up there if this is one of those tickets that you need to really pay attention to. Now, one thing we did not talk about on the other side, but we were going to reference here. And if you go back for options real quick, you can delete a ticket, which, if you don't want it to be moved to the done, or for some reason you delete it, but it will get archived. It doesn't actually like really delete it in here. And now you can also set up who can access this section to see the deleted tickets or restore deleted tickets if needed. So again, probably it's going to be at that admin level that you would give someone access to be able to restore tickets if needed, but just know that even deleted tickets are archived and someone would have access to that information on the back end. Did I miss anything? I think that was...
No, we got the callback one as well.
And the callback. You see that they attempted a callback. A callback was attempted, and it's a fake number, so that's why it's saying that it is not there. But if you there you can say that I did successfully call them. I called them back this time. They weren't available. I finally got in touch with them, and it goes all into the analytics that you need for this ticket. So remember this view. This is technician view. Down there you'll see at the bottom, if you want to open it up, I have the user view. Okay, this is for your users. We're not talking technicians now. We are talking your ordinary everyday. I'm a teacher, I'm an instructor, I'm an educator, and this is my Senso portal. And again, they don't necessarily have to have a Senso portal. They can also, we showed you, they can send an email, or you can have that custom access form that they send things in. This is their view of it. So if you want to go ahead and click on create ticket, it's going to look a lot different. Those general settings, these are all those general settings that you set up for them. Queue, priority, category, that specific device and user, they can put that in so that you can access remote control live chat of that device right from the ticket itself. Description, I'm always telling my educators, more information. Like, don't just say my computer is running slow. Well, what specifically is running slow on your? I really need more. I had were notorious, and I love them, but they would say their Elmo was broken because everything that was in their room was an Elmo. If you know, if old school, I don't know if you know what Elmo. It's a overhead like document presenter, and I would go down to fix it, and it would be like their projector, and she's like, my Elmo's not working. I was like, okay, well, I need to know like that sort of stuff. Choose files. Man, screenshots are going to be your best friend on this. You see that you can down there, you can select multiple files using control click or shift click to select those files and attach them. And again, request a callback. If you click on request a callback, they can give you either email, phone, what number they want you to call. Maybe they want you to call their cell phone, their floater, their resource room monitors. They're not always in the room, or whatever. And when their conference time is, when is their prep time, when is their planning time that they're going to be available to speak with you about their issue that's going on. So they set this themselves. Then they can go ahead and create a ticket. When they create a ticket, they're only going to see their tickets. They're not that technician view. You're seeing all the tickets if you have access to do that. This is just for them. And then as the technician that it was assigned to starts making changes on it, they can track it within this queue of tickets. So if they get a response, they missed a callback time, someone remoted into their device, whatever, all of that's going to be logged here, and they will be able to then see any changes to the ticket from the technician side, and then they'll also be able to see when things are resolved. Maybe it was one of those, great thing about Senso, you can fix a lot of things through the portal, using our network management tools that the teacher or educator or whomever you're assisting may not see that you have fixed it. And so you can send them, hey, I was able to look at your error events. I made some notification. I sent a script out. It cleared this out. You're good to go. Refresh. Let us know. We'll go from there. So that's the big difference between a user view and a technician view for Service Desk. Did I miss anything?
I think you covered everything there. We haven't had any questions yet either, so is that a good sign or is it a bad sign? I don't know.
I'm on the fence that that's a good sign. That if we were not doing, they'd be like, whoa, that didn't make sense. Go back. Wait, can you show us that? Or we missed the mark completely. Like, this doesn't make any sense. No, I think this is one of those service desks. If you're here watching this, you're here trying to learn about it, and they were hitting all those points that you need on there. So that's Service Desk. There are KB articles up there for you guys after this. If you would like to, everything that we talked about today, you'll see it it's kind of in a different section. It's in the Admin Center section of our support page. So support.senso.cloud. Go to the Admin Center and you'll see Service Desk and all the Service Desk articles. This is about to be posted to our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to rewatch this and kind of go over it again. Of course, if you've worked with our support team, you know that you can contact us and we will walk you through any questions that you may have or answer any questions that you may have after this. Owen?
I think we might be worth waiting a little bit of time because although we've got quite a few people watching live, there's actually more people further behind. So
Gotcha.
It'll be worth us hanging around just for 5 minutes just to see if any questions do come in around the product.
That's great. And before I forget to say
we can just have a chat, can't we?
Oh yes, I was going to tell you something. I do have I always forget to put the title card at the end that has our contact information on it. I actually have one this time. So at the end, you'll see me slide that over. If we can keep the stream going for maybe 2 or 3 minutes afterwards, it just has our email, our website and the 2 main numbers, the UK and the US office on there. But we forget to do that. And so for people watching later on, it's nice to have that. And then I need to go back and put it in the description. I'm the worst YouTuber ever. Like, I got nothing in the descriptions, no links to anything, nothing on there. But yeah, so looks good.
I think as we've already said as well, if you're obviously interested in finding out a bit more information, get in touch with your account manager or customer success, and they will happily talk to you about it.
Right. We do, for any sort of demos of any kind outside of this, if you need something that you're really interested in it, you'd like to have it added on, you need to have another one of these sort of demos specifically for your school, of course we'll do that. So any information. So the title card at the end, you'll have call numbers on there. if support.senso.cloud, you could put in requests through our website. I mean, golly, I'm starting to think we should have live chat. If you can send us an email, you can call us. There's a chat function within the website. I think it's Homer for the States is the yet. I can't remember what the girl is called.
Oh, is this the live chat on the main website?
I only
Yeah.
know Homer because he's the one for the States. But I can't remember what I call her Batgirl, but I know it's not Batgirl. I can't remember what her name is.
It's Betty, isn't it?
Hey, looks great. One thing, I'm not sure how does callback work when where does it come from? Well, the callback gets your phone, so you're going to be it's tied in if your Teams or anything. Am I correct on that? That's gonna.
So what if you make a phone call? If you make a phone call on whatever phone system that you use, so for example Teams or whatever it is, once you've done that phone call, you then come into your ticket, you press the callback attempt. That's done. There's no form of connection with the actual phone system. It is obviously a manual process, but it's just there so that you can log to the customer, and obviously also evidence for managers and the powers that be to say that you have made a callback attempt, you have attempted to try and call this person, and it was at this time on this date.
And several callback attempts, as well. It wasn't
Yeah.
just they were really trying to help out and to get a resolution to that ticket.
Our lovely colleague Isaac has tried to share, but he can't share links. I will make him a moderator so he can do it. But if you do want to get support articles on Service Desk, you can go to support.senso.cloud. Chris, for GDPR purposes, obviously the data, I need to double check this, but it's in the same location as where all our other data is kept, so it will be in the UK. That's if you're on the UK servers.
side.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're on the UK side, the UK servers. If you're on the US side, it'll be US servers.
We got, well, yeah, no, because I was about to say we're all over, but yeah, I was like, probably gonna be U.S. server side. Good questions. It looks like we got the link to it in there, so that's good.
Yeah, I made Andrew a moderator earlier on.
Excellent. Yeah, it was when with those we weren't really sure where to put it, and I just wanted within the admin center. I don't know that it warranted because we want to have all of the kind of categories, so you don't have 1,000 different categories. Like everything admin center is one place, so it just may be something you're looking for and you don't see them right away. That just remember anything in the admin center. That's where that information is going to be contained into, unless it's something really specific that we may pull out. It maybe makes sense to be categorized somewhere else on that support page, but we like to get those tickets out there.
Got a good question from GDA Rock. The answer to your question, no, it doesn't. Again, the rules are set up by you for the automation rules. That would probably be defined by an automation rule, but I don't believe there is a rule in there for ticket deletion. So there would be no email alert to the end user if a ticket was deleted on the stealth.
But an admin, but an admin person maybe have that access to see deleted tickets. Like, well, why did you? Well, look at the ticket. Like, you can look at the archive section of this is why I deleted it. It was not something that we needed to address. So yeah.
So when you get those tickets that have got zero information in them, and you've told them time and time again, you need information.
Yeah. You gotta give us. It's broken. Like, okay, well,
There are some organisations out there that have very strict rules on the type of tickets that you log with with their IT departments, and if the tickets don't meet those criteria, they have every right to delete your ticket, apparently.
But that's where automation rules, auto responses, canned responses are going to be the best thing ever. Ticket does not meet criteria for information submitted. Please, you got to let us know more stuff other than it's just not working. Like then there's no point in submitting a ticket because we're going to do research. Like if you put more information in there, it helps us resolve it a lot quicker. Man, can you tell we've been support for a long time?
Yep.
Yeah. So and support like customers that have been with us for a long time. We've established like they know how we all like our information sent to us, and the stuff you send me is way different, but it makes sense for me as to what we do, even for their environments. Hey, you knew that lab we did that one time with that thing? I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll fix that. All right. I'm happy with that. I'm really pleased. This was I love doing these. Like these are fun. I'm so happy that everyone could join us today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to do these live YouTube events with us. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Can you? I'm live on YouTube. I know I hear it in my head. Everybody that says that, so that you can get alerted when we set these up, and you can go ahead and show wait, you can go ahead and add it to your calendar for when we do these live events. You can see when we post all the videos that we're getting for our different categories. This is a great platform for us to communicate with you guys, and you can then feedback to us. Make sure you check out our website, Senso.cloud. If you are looking to contact support.senso.cloud, get to us directly. And for those of you that are already customers, make sure you contact your customer support representative or your sales representative for more information about Service Desk. Thank you again, and we are going to slide over a title card or end card here for probably a minute just so that you had some contact information, and then we'll end the stream. Thanks, everybody. Almost did it right.
You muted.